Wanna go, pretty boy?
Two minutes by yourself and you feel shame, and then you get free.
The only thing better than a glass of beer is tea with Miss McGill.
And welcome to the Fourth Line Boys podcast. My name is Darren. Thank you very much for tuning in. Episode 437 of The Big Show. Some enforcer-based podcasting coming at you, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. How you cats doing out there? It's late Sunday night here. It's 9:15. Saskatchewan time. It's some stuff shaking down in the hockey. In Canada, we got a new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Has taken over for Justin Trudeau. Things are happening here, folks. Let me tell you. Had a little brawl in the Fed today. Alice Gallant and Terrell Bauer beat the piss out of each other last night in the American League. Great tilt. Probably one of the fights of the year. Definitely check that out. Unfortunately, we had the waivers and all that stuff we'll talk about. My boy Chris out there, don't you worry, that's his favorite part is I got the hockey cards. What do we got? We got Parkhurst 1992 Series 2 Parkhurst. There we go. We'll get that. And I was kind of put back on my heels today, folks. I had a guest no show yesterday, so I had nothing planned. So today I worked this morning, and then came home, and it's like what am I going to talk about? Well, thankfully, like I said, over the last couple of years, I've had people send me lists and that type of thing, and I've kind of kept a folder of links, because you never know when stuff like this is going to happen. See, like a Boy Scout, I am prepared, and so I have a list for you. I have not looked at this list. The link was sent to me. It's fairly new, and it's it's fairly we're getting straightforward. The top 10 goons, NHL goons of all time, and I was told you will love this list. So thank you, Eric, for sending it to me, and you guys keep me in business here. So you guys, actually, it's been huge. You guys have bailed me out a bunch of times, because it's like I sit here, and I know people like the lists, because I do get a lot of feedback on them, especially when they're bad. So, because I actually like when they're bad, because not all bad, but like when some of it's bad, because then it's just funny, and I think you kind of take the piss out of it. So, but we'll see. We'll see what's happening with this one. But I already like top 10 goons. Oh, I could tell you the Facebook messenger board groups and these minor league forums in the Southern Pro League and the Federal League and stuff. All the crying that's been going on this weekend. I finally did everyone here start watching hockey like 9 weeks ago? Like, are you new to the sport? Like, they were talking like this line brawl was these guys should be getting 3 to 5 in the pen. It was the worst thing they've ever seen. Kids are there, Oh, okay, and then I watched it. No, it wasn't bad. There was a couple, but it's like, I mean, back in the 90s, that was called Tuesday. So, but I mean, I don't know. Now, I said not only the fucking players soft, but the fans are even worse. Like, I thought there was a homicide committed. I had to go find, I'm like, holy shit, what happened? Look at all the comments, and they're disgusted, and this isn't hockey, and anybody that's cheering for this has mental problems and all this. So, of course, it's right up my alley. I'm like, well, I mean, I have mental problems. Maybe I'll cheer for it. So, go and watch it. And it was like, oh, yeah. Like, they jumped us. Yeah. It's not hockey. It was just savagery. Oh. You show the crowd, everyone's cheering. It's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know, with a player. Like, they didn't cart anybody off. No one's, no one lost any appendages. There's no blood anywhere. It's just like, they'll live. Like, But here we are. But first, let me say I'm a member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Over 100 shows on the network. I am on the original content creator side. Myself, Terry Ryan, old Ted Hitchcock. Shoresy Season 5 is recording as we speak. As you listen to this, it is being recorded in Sudbury, so I'm looking forward to that. I just finished Season 4. I believe Season 4 is now all 6 episodes are released in the States. I will say, bit of a filler season, but, I don't know. I'm amused by the show, so... look, I'm glad they got an extension to Season 5, and, the boys get another payday out of it, so, hey, cool, man. Get back to some hockey. It's always interesting to see who, I completely zoned out about what I was going to say. I kind of looked to the side and, squirrel. It's always interesting to see who will make a cameo, because it's usually a tough guy, right? Because Kiso's into the tough guys, so we'll see. But so Season 5 is being recorded as we speak, or filmed, I guess. So Terry Ryan's a part of that, and of course Joel Lazito over at the Coliseum Chronicles right now. He has got part 1 out with Luke Gauthier, the old Sherbrooke Canadians enforcer from back in the day. I know Lazito was over the border here. I could, there was some heightened tension in the country, and you could feel it almost. And I think maybe we need to clearly we need to crack down on border security about who's coming, the comings and goings on. But Jolt and Joe. As soon as I start the show now, I get the hiccups. There we go. That's what true professionalism here. I did have someone a couple weeks back call me unprofessional again. Again, I don't recall calling myself a professional to begin with. I'm amused though that you mean the guy in his basement office with his cheap microphone yelling out the window you don't think is professional? Well, no shit. Did you stay at a fucking Holiday Inn Express last night? Like, you swear too much. Oh, okay. Well, that's why it says, it's E for explicit, not E for everyone. This isn't a fucking video game, but, all right. Like, then don't listen. Wow. I'm going to keep listening. I just wish you wouldn't swear as much. Oh, okay. Well, so thank you out there for whoever you may be. And I did notice it's funny in the network. It breaks down like where everybody's listening. I have one listener in Thailand. So to you, sir, thank you for tuning in out in Thailand. I hope you're doing well out there. Identify yourself. Drop me a line. Call somebody. Call home. They want to hear from you. But where was I don't even know what I was saying now. See, this is if you're a professional. This in the business is what they call filler, kids. How about this? I'll hit you with a DraftKings ad. Hey, sign up for DraftKings right now. Let me tell you, March Madness is right around the corner. Oh, I love college basketball. Like March Madness is, I'm serious. It's like my favorite sporting event of the year. I love it. Oh, I've got the brackets going, betting on every game. The wife's even involved. She doesn't even watch sports, but she'll fill out a bracket and, she sits there. We got basketball going all time when the tournament's on. I love it. I love me March Madness. I made a lot of money during March Madness. I need to make a lot of money in March Madness after that trip to Vegas. Holy! I hope we get our contract. We're in contract negotiations right now. They're almost done. I saw our union guy the other day. I said, "Holy shit! Can you sign it quick? I need some back pay." But yeah, March Madness around the corner. So sign up with some DraftKings, man. I'm telling you, it's pretty good sign up bonus. But I'm going to run a DraftKings ad, and then we're going to open up these hockey cards. I've been staring at these things for like a month. That was supposed to be a lead-in, and then I couldn't find the mouse to hit pause. Here we go. Maybe I am unprofessional.
And now, here's a word from our sponsor.
It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. You know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening rounds through to the closing round on Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, much and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick someone simple like a golfer to win the tournament. Make the pick. That's it. It's just that easy. Some of the lines, the Arnold Invitational is coming up here. Of course, obviously the favorite, Scott Scheffler, plus 330. Of course, you have the Masters in April. Here's a long shot for you. Justin Thomas, 30-1. Something to think about. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code THPN. That's code THPN for a new customer to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of the Boot Hills Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, are we back at it here? Here we go. Okay, let's open these Parkhurst cards, the old classics. We'll see what we get. I was really disappointed. Actually, there was a card shop that I was going to check out in Vegas, and we kind of cruised on by. It was closed, so that was disappointing. But, all right, here we go. Craig Janney. Oh, skilled player, but holy, you talk about fucking softer baby shit. Brad Miller, there you go. The old D-man for Buffalo. Oh, Kimby Daniels. Rookie card, Philadelphia Flyers. Kimby Daniels. Believe he scored WHL record 6 goals in one game with Swift Current. Oh, another rookie, Alexander Seamak. Troy Loney. There you go. Actually underrated. Actually did a bit of fighting for Pittsburgh. Kelly Miller for the Washington Capitals. David Bruce, the San Jose Sharks. Steve Chason for the Red Wings. Antonio Semenov for Edmonton. Stefan Matteau. Rookie, Sean McEachran for Pittsburgh Penguins. Final card, Gerard Gallant. Great coach. Actually, solid power forward for the Red Wings back in the day. He'd put up 30 goals, 200 minutes. Yeah, solid, man. Wasn't a bad fighter. Yeah. I'd give him the power forward status for sure. So there we go. Well, that was sort of, do you say that's anticlimactic? Perhaps. Tell you, that was a bit of a letdown, to be honest. Last person to be let down that bad in this house was my wife. I remember one time I asked my wife if I'm the only one she's ever been with. She said yes, all the others were 9 and 10s. There we go. Oh, I think I should be up on stage telling my jokes. Hey, come for the comedy, stay for the hockey. Well, this is episode 437. Enjoyed it. Might be the last one if the network listens to this. This is what happens when you have guest no show, folks. Well, I guess we have to start with some NHL news. Sort of an end of an era, a little bit. Ryan Reaves put on waivers by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's the thing. It's been brought up a bunch of times on here. I've said it, a bunch of times over the last, few years. Reaves really gets shit on by the fans, and But at the end of the day, he's 38 years old. I get it. He's had a hell of a run though. And I think he's one of those guys there was always the guys back in the day on the message boards and stuff that used to get shit on. They could do no wrong or do no right. Didn't matter what they did. yeah, the Leafs put him on waivers and he cleared, so he's going down to the American League. It'll be interesting if he plays down there. I mean, although they kind of indicated that, if there's any injuries or whatever, it's more of a salary cap thing, and then come the playoffs, the salary cap doesn't matter. So they indicated he might be back up for the playoffs. So, because they said Berube's a big fan of him a big fan of his, but especially in the room. So, maybe. But I mean, regardless if it doesn't happen, he, finishes up in the American League and then, rides off into the sunset. Shit, a hell of a career. Just looking at his numbers in the NHL, 912 regular season games, 63 goals, 74 assists, exactly 1,100 minutes of penalties. In the playoffs, 113 career games, 9 points, 116 minutes, plus one. Plus one in the playoffs. There you go. At least it was a plus, right? I looked it up. By quick calculations, he had 91 career fights. The most fights he ever had in a season was 2011-12. He had 13, and 13-14 he had 10. He did have a minor league, an American League number 21 year. But overall, it's been interesting. I mean, Western Hockey League kid. I mean, I saw him in the dub with the Wheat Kings. And it's funny, he never really stood out. Like, just looking at his 201 WHL games, 3 years, 201 games, 79 career points, 246 minutes. He only had 13 fights in junior. And, this is, the 2000s when, guys were still putting up 20 fights a year. He wasn't a big fighter. He was a third-line grinder guy. But, to his credit, he turned pro and then kind of, decided to take on the enforcer role. And, good on him. I don't know. You can say what you want. I mean, I at the same time, the one thing I'll say about Reaves, I'm chewing my food twice here, but because I've said it multiple times on here over the years, but it wasn't him that got soft. It was the rest of the league. I mean, could he have been probably more proactive? Yeah, probably. But I mean, and he was in his late 20s, early 30s. But, as you get on into your late 30s, I mean, he's beat up too. But it's he led the league in hits 2 years in a row. And then he was always in the top. So he's out there playing physical. I mean, so he's banging and yapping at guys. And I think he probably didn't have a lot of takers, to be honest. I mean, let's be honest. Seriously, it's not like every team's we're going 2 and 3 deep. Most teams don't really have anybody. So, it's not. Reaves doesn't fight. Well, fuck, is he saying no to anybody? Really? I never had a problem with Reaves. I mean, would I go on, Reaves is some, he could have played. Well, he could have played in any era for sure. I mean, great athlete, strong guy, tough enough guy. I mean, I always laughed at, you wouldn't have survived in the 80s and 90s. Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, he's no Torrey Robertson, really. If he had played in the 90s, I mean, yeah, he would have fit right in. He'd have been a middle-of-the-road guy. I mean, would he have been champ? No, but I mean, he wouldn't have been, fucking Ed Kostelik or something. I mean, he would have been better than Jay Caulfield. I mean, come on. I mean, I know the old-timers love to rip on him and shit, but it's he would have been fine. No, I've always liked Reaves, and I liked his attitude. People say he was cocky and shit. It's so what? What's he supposed to be? I don't know. Was he though, really? Cut a few promos, but I mean, and he was brash on Spit and Chiglets, but it's I don't know. I think a lot of these, it's the same people that are wrapped up in the code and all this horse shit and love the bum taps and the bro hugs and, think everything's fucking Marcus at Queensberry and everybody should be proper and have prim and proper square offs and just all that horse shit. So, whatever. But no, to Ryan Reaves, if, you don't make it back to the NHL, I mean, fuck, hell of a ride, 38 years old, 900 games, made a few bucks. I'm sure, I'm sure they won't be, having any GoFundMe's for him or anything. He'll be all right. And, good on you. Thank you, sir, for your, thank you for your service. Hey, he brought us 90-some fights in the NHL and, had some good ones and created some controversy and hit a few people and, hey, what the fuck? I mean, you can say what you want about him, but the enforcing in the NHL, fighting in the NHL just got shittier, so, we'll see. But in the other news, I guess Olivier got contract extension. Did he get a good, I think it was like 6-year deal. So good on him, right on. It's always good to see it, tough guys get deals. So I know Travis Howe down in San Diego. I'm a big Travis Howe fan. He's already signed an extension for next season, so good on him. Man, what a ride. That guy started in the Federal League, and he's all the way up in the American Hockey League. I'd love to see him get some NHL time. Yeah, I don't think so, but, you never know. Speaking of NHL time, will the Flames please give Alex Gallant a game? Alex Gallant and Terrell Bauer beat the piss out of each other last night in the American League. Man, the Gallants are so good. Brett Gallant, Alex, they're so good. I was looking up the fight on YouTube, and of course over in the corner is more Alex Gallant fights. And I mean, I've seen them, but I just went down that rabbit hole again for about 20 minutes the other night, and just like clicking on different links and watching different fights. And man, oh man, just stand in the pocket and throw. None of this Jersey jab horse shit, and like just beauties. And then you watch Brett Gallant, and man, they're so good. So good. Yeah. It can be a sad day when Alex hangs him up, but he's tremendous. And this Bauer kid, I don't know anything about. I'm gonna do a bit of a dive on him. I know he's a Western League kid, but I'm gonna have to. But because he, goddamn, I mean, he stood there and took it. So, and was fighting back. So yeah, good on you, kid. And I'm down with Terrell Bauer. Great fight. And and if you follow me on social media, on Facebook, I shared the video of the Federal League line brawl today between Blue Ridge and Binghamton. And it wasn't bad. I mean, but it was something for 2025. What the fuck, right? So, I don't know what else I really don't have much. Like I said, this was kind of a haphazard throw together. I mean, if you look at the show notes, it looks, with my writing here, it looks like a ransom note. Again, I apologize. I thought I had something lined up yesterday, and I got ghosted. So, such is life in the podcasting. I was hot last night, though. And like I always say, then, you tell people, well, you sure do a lot of solo episodes. Fuck yeah, I wonder why. So we'll see. Maybe next week. But anyway, let's, what was that? Oh, the list. What is this list? Let's have a look here. Oh, it's from the Penn State Student Media. Oh, all right. Top 10 NHL Goons by Austin Morin, February 15th, 2025. So, hey, it's current. So, all right. It's a shame, but the Goon role in the game of hockey is diminishing rapidly, if not already gone. It's gone. So, it's time to reminisce about the past and give the list of the top 10 NHL Goons of all time. All right. Well, Austin seems to be upset that the Goons are gone. I will say, I know a number of people over the years that have maybe a little bit of some of the players. I mean, always really took offense to the word goon. I don't know. I know, it's certainly not a term of endearment, that's for sure. I mean, some fans use it just, because they don't. I'm not saying this person, but we'll read the list. We'll see if he knows any better after the list. But, I know, the Hockey News and stuff, and Numbnuts Campbell there would use it as a slur, basically. But I mean, I don't know. I've used the word goon sometimes, and I mean, I guess I mean it in an affectionate way. Cement, whatever. But yeah, it's just interesting how the word gets used. But I mean, some people just act like it's some friggin' some racial slur almost or something. It's like, well, no, I mean, I guess if I was a player, someone was calling, I guess, you'd have to see, who was calling me a goon. If it's Marner Boy on Twitter calling me a goon, I mean, are you really going to take that seriously? Although, granted, if I was sitting in a studio in the media and the media guys calling me a goon, I might get a little hot about that. But anyway, I'm rambling. Enough of the filler. Let's get to Austin's article here. At least he went 10-1. So Austin. I bet you Austin's listened to my show, and that's how he knows He probably knew at some point I was gonna do his list. So he did. We got to make this for the fourth line voice. I'll do 10-1. So here we are. This Penn State Media, Austin Morin's top 10 goons of all time. Here we go. Number 10, Matt Martin. Austin, we're off to a hot start. This one might be a little bit of recency bias due to the fact that I grew up watching this guy play the way he does. Okay, so we know how. Well, I guess it's the Penn State Media, so we already knew how kind of old Austin was. So he'd probably be what? 1920, so he was born in 2000, or 2002-ish, around there. Yeah, okay. I grew up watching the way this guy, Martin, big physical presence at the Islanders, and has been for many years. Martin suits up to not go and score goals, but to frustrate the opponent and get underneath their skin, which is what an enforcer does. Yeah, Martin has been suspended once in his career for kneeing, and he starts us off at 10. Oh, that's a hell of a write-up, Austin. Top 10 goons of all time. Okay, well, now Matt Martin would not be on my top 10 of all time list. I like Matt Martin, but no, but okay. Sure. Okay, here we go. That's number 10, folks. Can't wait to see the rest. This is tremendous already. Eric, thank you for sending. You were correct, sir. And I'm only at 9. Number 9, Rafi Torres. Torres, though, was the biggest headhunters in the league back in 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs. He earned himself a 21-game suspension to his hit on Hossa, leaving him unconscious. In a game during the 2015 preseason, Torres was called for an illegal hit on Ducks forward Jacob Silverberg and was suspended for a total of 41 games. Yeah, I forgot about that. Jesus, 41 games. Are you serious? Had a long history of dirty plays and was suspended for a total of 5 times during his 12-year career. All right, I guess he didn't really like when you say goon, it's top 10 NHL goons / enforcers of all time. So, okay, I guess we'll get to some enforcers here shortly. I'm not even gonna defend why Rafi. Rafi, no. Number 8, Sean Avery. Okay, well, yeah. So, I mean, you should have called this the top 10, passes or agitate. Many people remember Avery as one of the most obnoxious players in the league on and off the ice. He led the NHL in penalty minutes in 03, 04, 05, 06, was suspended a full season in 08 for comments he made off the ice, and was suspended a full season in 2008? What? Well, I think he was suspended for, it was like the sloppy seconds thing, right? But I know he had played, and then I think Dallas, whatever. I never liked Sean Avery. I always thought he was a goof. I liked when he played. I liked him as a player because he always started shit and whatever. I mean, and he wasn't dirty. He was never suspended. As he brings up on season 4 of Shoresy. But any fight, I mean, he had over 100 fights. He's a douchebag. I mean, his teammates didn't even like him, so, whatever. Number 7, Matt Cook. What are we doing here? Number 7, Matt Cook. He might be the great case for being the dirtiest player in the NHL history. Cook has always seemed to find himself getting in trouble with the league at least a couple times every year. His forte was basically to hit other players in the head and create the term Matt Cook elbow. Well, I've never heard the term Matt Cook elbow, but okay. Apparently it's bigger on Penn State. Go ask Mark Savard. The guy missed 2 months of the 2010 season after Cook knocked him out with a blindsided hit. He spent multiple times in his career for hits to the head and knee-on-knee collisions. I'll give him number 7. Like I said with this list, I don't like these I don't know if old young Austin here knows what an enforcer is, because this isn't it. These are like agitators. And are you just I guess you're using the term goon as like someone that's dirty? I mean, that's what these guys are. But all right. Matt Cook at number 7, everybody. Number 6, Claude Lemieux. Lemieux was a very good, skilled player, a great leader in the locker room. He's carried a very questionable reputation for some serious hits he delivered throughout his career. Best known for his cheap shot on Chris Draper in the 96 conference final when Draper broke his nose, cheekbone, left to conscious nerve damage. He finished his career with 18 postseason appearances and 4 Stanley Cups. Yeah, Lemieux was a little dirty prick. Actually, I think Lemieux was he actually wasn't a bad fighter. I mean, not a heavyweight or anything like that, but he's actually gotten to some pretty good tilts if you go back and watch some of his stuff. But yeah, he was a hell of a playoff performer, though. Great player. But yeah, he's, whatever. He's a clown. Number 5, Todd Bertuzzi. He's considered to be a goon due to an incident where he didn't sucker punch Steve Moore from behind, which ultimately caused Moore to have to retire. Suspended from the NHL for 17 months, pleaded guilty to criminal assault charge. Suspended twice by the NHL over the course of his career, and one of the biggest goons to ever play. Well, no, he wasn't. And he didn't sucker punch Steve. You're taxing as I always say, you're taxing the definition of the word of sucker punch. It's not a sucker punch when you skate beside the guy for 45 seconds telling him you're going to do it. So the Moore thing was, well, I've already made my feelings about the Bertuzzi Moore incident a few times on this show, so I'm not going to rehash it now, but Moore just dropped the gloves. None of that would have happened, and it's 9-1, so I'm not sure what you're doing. But no, Todd Bertuzzi should not be on this list. Number 4, Chris Simon. Okay, well, there we go. Very few players more vicious than Simon when he laced up his skates, earned not 1 but 2 25-game suspensions, and one of the long. This guy loves to talk about suspensions. His first major suspension came with the Islanders. He took a 200 swing at Hallwig of the Rangers. Simon had 305 career points through 782 NHL games. Is considered one of the biggest goons in league history. Simon was a great fighter, big lefty. Ultimately, the shoulders, his injuries, ended up causing him to have to retire, or really limited his fighting towards the end. But when he first came up with Quebec and was in Colorado, there kind of first got into Washington. Simon was vicious, man. Great player, 29 goals the 1 year. Rest in peace, Chris Simon. But yeah, one of the baddest dudes ever. I don't know if I'd have Simon in my top 10 of all time, but yeah, he's a top 25 candidate, maybe. I've never really sat down and thought about it, but he's in the conversation for sure when he was healthy. Oh, yeah. Number 3, Ty Domi. Yeah, I wouldn't have 3. He wouldn't be that high on my all-time list, but I would have Domi around. Like, he'd be talked about, not in the top 3, but just in the top 10, 15-ish. I know it's one of the all-time tough guys in the NHL. Fought basically everyone that got in the way, and including fighting a fan in the penalty box. Played 16 years in the league. Ranks 3rd in penalty minutes. Has over 330 fights over the course of his career, threw elbows around left and right. All you guys listen. I don't need to sell you on. Oh, and this was who Ty Domi was. I'm fairly certain everyone listening knows who Ty Domi is. Again, I wouldn't have him at 3 overall or anything. Probably wouldn't even have him in my top 10. I'd have him in my top 20 though, probably. Number two, Bob Probert. I'm interested to know who number 1 is. I really debated putting Probert at number 1 slot, but here he is at 2. Probert, known for physical force fighting. He's well known as half the Bruise Brothers, along with Joey Coaster. He ranks 5th all-time penalty minutes. Chipped away offensively during his time in the career at 29 goals in 88. Was one of the most dominant fighters of all time. Yeah, he wasn't bad. To me, you could go. I could see a Brown Probert 1A 1B-ish kind of thing. I've seen that argument. Some people have Ben Wilson. Other younger folks probably. I know people will just cringe, but you could have Larocque or Brashear in there. But yeah, most people have Probert 1. I would have Probert 1 in mine. Just due to longevity and stuff. But number 2, okay. I have not scrolled further to see who number 1 is. Who's young Austin here going to have it number 1? Jesus, what are we going to do? Put Jerome McGinley or something? He's not going to have anybody old. He's not going to have Ben Wilson or Dave Brown. So, Probert is, Probert. But here we go. The number 1, what was it? I keep saying that the top 10 NHL goons / enforcers of all time from the Penn State student media Austin Morin, who do you have at number 1? Marty McSorley. I wouldn't have him at 1, but yeah, Marty'd be in my top 10. McSorley is one of the most feared enforcers of all time. Yes, he was. Was once suspended 23 games and served 18 months of probation for assaulting fellow goon Donald Brashear with a stick during a game. 359 career points in 961 games go along with 3,381 minutes in the box. This guy gets the number 1 spot just based on the fear of his opponents. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between, I've always said, between enforcing and fighting. In terms of enforcing, Marty was one of the greatest enforcers of all time. Was he one of the greatest fighters of all time? No. He was a good fighter, though. He was really good. I would have him in my top 10 of all time. Yeah, probably. I would. Top 15 for sure. But yeah, top 10. Unfortunately, he'll always, first sentence in this paragraph on him, hitting Brashear. He'll always be known for hitting Brashear in the head. And he deserved it. I mean, I'm not saying Brashear deserved it, but Marty deserves. I mean, it was stupid and reckless, and it was a goofy thing to do. But and it diminishes his 961 other games that he played, and a couple cups, and turned himself into a real solid player. Couple All-Star game a couple years in a row, or a couple years in his career, and just became a real solid blue liner during his days, especially in LA. And he turned himself into a real solid player. And I love me some Marty McSorley. He's one of my favorites. And like I said, it's sad that that's his sort of his legacy now. But I think fight fans that kind of know better, they know how good Marty was. And yeah, he did cross the line a lot of times, but that was enforcing back then. I mean, now, it's so convoluted and people don't know what it is now, but, you can't enforce anymore. The rules won't let you, but, Marty was one of the best to do it. And if you go to my YouTube channel, Fourth Line Voice on YouTube, and type in Marty McSorley Explains Enforcing, yeah, check that video out. I mean, it's funny when people listen to it, like the comments are like, this guy's a serial killer and all this, but it's like, well, that was enforcing in the 80s and in the 90s, and, and it's too bad it wasn't around now, because you got fucking clowns acting like donkeys these days, and I'd love to see a guy like Marty straighten these pricks out, but, it was frontier justice back then, and it can be argued whether it was good or bad, but I'm on the good camp. So, but yeah, there we go. Old Austin Moran is a second year majoring in broadcast journalism. To contact him, I'll be emailing you, sir. Straighten this shit out. No, I don't care. But that was something, that list. We'll put it that way. But it was. It got me through episode 437. We'll put it that way. I mean, some will say this episode wasn't released; it escaped. Yeah, folks. I mean, 38 minutes might be one of my shortest episodes of all time. I don't mean to cut it short on you, but it's just I really don't have much. That list cracked me up, though. That was pretty funny. Yeah, like I said, I was sort of ill-prepared. I kind of thought I'd have an interview for you, so I didn't really put a lot of stock into getting things ready for an episode. But I know I will tell you this. Coming up, I'm going to have Jukka, my boy from Finland, back on the show, great hockey fight historian. And we're going to talk about one of the all-time greats, Serge Roberge. And Jukka has done a great job compiling information on Serge's career and his fights. Hundreds and hundreds of fights, and he's just got some really fun facts about Serge, and we're gonna I think give time and dedicate an episode to a legend, and I'm gonna see if Jukka has kind of maybe put together kind of a best of, maybe a video compilation or something, and I'll put it up on my YouTube channel. But I know the 1 year in Halifax, I know Steve, when Probert was king, there's a guy I need to get back on the show, has often mentioned that is one of the greatest fight seasons of all time. I think he had about 40-some fights that year in Halifax, and I have those tapes, and he beats the fuck out of people. Like, it's not even fucking close. And I mean, he was such a technician, and just kind of a Langdon guy, but he could tie you up, and but he could punch with both hands, and he could drop you, and just like I say, there's some guys when they fight, they were artists, and if that's true, then Serge Roberge was fucking Picasso, because he was tremendous. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down with Yuka, and he's all into the newspapers.com and stuff. So he'll have articles, and I know he's really getting pumped up for it. And he really wants the episode to do well, and really hit you guys with a lot of information. And I think, at the core of this show, that's kind of what I always want to do with this show. It's fun to do these goofy lists, and we have a laugh over the Rafi Torreses, and okay, that's a good one, and it's something to laugh about on your car on the commute to work or something. But when it comes to player spotlights, or like, a player, we break down a guy's career, kind of spotlight him, I want it to be real solid, because I want it to be just a real piece to honor that guy. And Serge Robert is one of the greatest minor league fighters of all time, and he deserves the respect of being properly reported on, I guess to say. So yeah, and Yuka's the man for the job, let me tell you. So no, him and I are going to get together this week, and he's going to send me some information, and we're going to do some research and look up some video, and yeah, that'll become next week, or I keep trying to think what Yuka's days off are. It might be next week. We're going to record next Saturday. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I always enjoy having Yuka on the show anyway, but like I said, he's so knowledgeable, and it'll be good. I can guarantee it'll be good. So got that coming up, the Serge Roberge classic. So I'm looking forward to it. But we got that. I have a few player interviews. One of the guys I'm going to talk to is in Mexico on holidays right now, but when he gets back, he promised that he will get on the show, another minor league legend. Like, again, I'm not going to throw out names because they might not show up. So, but if he does, it'll be a good one. As far as he's never done a podcast. None of his stuff is out there. So, and he's got some good stories, and I know he wants to motherfuck a few people. So that'll be good. We'll do that, and we'll see. Got a few irons in the fire, but you never know who's going to come and who's not going to. But keep trying here, folks. I do my best every week to give you something. So, but it's good to be back in the saddle, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. And like I said, I'm sorry that it was kind of scattered and everything. But like I said, I kind of got caught by surprise, and. But I still try to do my best to get you guys content, so you got something to listen to Monday morning on the way to work, and or on the workout, or whatever it happens to be, And for those folks that tune in all the time and listen and send your feedback, or thank you very much. I appreciate it. I know there's a million podcasts to listen to. Like I always say, the fact you listen to this one, I greatly appreciate it. So please follow me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Fourth Line Voice, and YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Like 2,500 videos on there. I'm doing my best to upload stuff. I'm being a little more proactive lately. But yeah, check out the channel. I put some good stuff up. Actually, some newer stuff. I know, and you're kind of, not that I'm slobbering up the new stuff, but some good shit. There are some good tilts out there still, and we got to give the guys the respect for doing it. So, but other than that, and if you want to drop me a line, my DMs are open, as the kids say. And if you're not on social media, bravo, you're smarter than the rest of us. Email me, hockeyfights@hotmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And other than that, folks, have a good week. Also, check out the Bruised and Battered show. We just had. What episode are we on? 19? I think we're on 19. Anyway, we just had Anthony Collins on the show. Great guest, and tough guy, man. He was a really good guest, and fun episode. I do it with Jay and Alec, three of us. This latest episode, we have a Pop-Tart debate that, how can you live without this content in your life? But it's all the news from the current minor league, and there's been some interesting stuff out there. We talk about the fights and the jerseys and silly promotions and getting mad at fans. And I cut a promo on a player that ratted on another guy this week. So check out the Bruised and Battered podcast. It is also on the Hockey Podcast Network. And that comes out every Friday. This comes out every Sunday. What more do you want, people, for your hockey content? Other than professionalism, maybe. You ain't going to find that around here, but we're trying our best. But anyway, folks, you guys have a good week. Let's attack it. And I guess we'll talk to you on the Bruised and Battered show. If not, I'll talk to you next weekend. Thanks, guys.
And you people that don't like fighting, how many of you did you walk out and get a coffee while that was on?